watching WeAllBe News Radio, News Free Dixie for the 21st century. I'm Thaddeus Mathis.
Most racist job I've had in my adult life was working for Hollywood.
I got it.
They really, really hate straight black men out there. If you're gay, they love you.
I gotta ask you this. I'm glad you brought that up. How you segue that? Judge Mathis have a show called the Mathis Family Matters Show. He has an openly gay son on the show, and he got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, I believe, this year. To me, it's like they replaced you with him. Like he agreed to play ball.
Well, they didn't, because his ratings are still at number 47, 46.
But how they justify
number
you
one.
should have a Walk of Fame?
Because I was standing for manhood, and well, I don't want to talk about the young brother. Well, he's young to me, but anyway, I was running the number one and number two syndicated show in the country. I was beating Oprah most weeks of the year, and we were in the same section. It was me, Judy, Oprah, and Dr. Phil. And I beat her the last 4 years almost every damn week. So did you hear about superstar Joe Brown? No, they tried to do everything to keep my ratings down. Every time I started beating Judy, they started changing the rating schedules. Like right here in the Memphis area, they've got a duopoly for her, where there is a station that carries the CBS stuff, and then there is another station that carries CBS syndication. So what happens is if anybody records her and plays the tape back in 48 hours, she gets double the rating. So in Memphis, she gets 4 times the rating, but they refused to exercise that option for me, so I didn't beat her. So I got 1 time the rating, she got 4 times the ratings. So I still was beating her, and they didn't want to hear it. So I'm not surprised they gave that to Mathis. I mean, I think it's boring and insipid. I don't want to talk about him, but you know, I can't deal with that gang banging shit at all.
But Judge, like you said, you had one of the top shows in your arena, and to me, you
not my arena. Out of all the daytime syndicated shows, as likely as not, I was number one, and that included beating Judy.
Right.
If you talked about syndicated shows, including Wheel of Fortune, it was Wheel of Fortune, Judge Judy, and Joe Brown running 1, 2, 3, or the ratings would change. So I'd be 1, she'd be 2, and they'd be 3. But they weren't going to tell you that, because there is an A list and a B list and a C list in Hollywood, but the paparazzi doesn't put it together. They get the list from the studio. So paparazzi after paparazzi would come up, try to flash me. People say, well, why do you want him? I said, man, he got the number 1 TV show in the country. Him? Who is he? Well, we don't have him on the list. So, well, that's the point. They're trying to down him because he's a man, a real man. And there were others.
Yeah, with the Mathis, that he definitely not a big. I mean, he's not. You got even the real life narrative of you, Judge, is larger than life, and you got the charisma, and you got the gravitas. I mean, I'm not knocking him for having a gay son, but I think it's interesting that he got an openly gay son.
It's not about making money. Hollywood has a specific agenda to screw up the traditional family, because too many of the lesbians who are out there think being married is a form of slavery. So I heard them plot this when I was still at UCLA back in the 60s. They'd get up in the parks where they had sound systems, and they'd talk about how they were going to do it over and over and over again. And we ought to look at them because they did it well. They were successful, and they've achieved their aims well, and they've got the population thinking they're in the majority, or at least half of the people, when actually they're around 4.5% of the country's population. Some places they don't even come up to 2%. So what happens is that you have a thing where at best 0.5% of the population is tranny. 1% is lesbian. 1.5% is homosexual male. And the balance that can range from 2.5 to maybe 4.5%, depending upon where it is bisexual. And see, like I said, some of the gay crowd doesn't even like this because they say we aren't for the destruction of masculinity. We just have freak sex practices.
Right.